What's going on, gang? What's going on? It's your boy Phantom Fuego, PHANTM, PHUEGO, and you are now tuned into the news, views, previews, and reviews. Which has to twist his Ghetto Point of View. Ooh. It's gonna be a dope show tonight, gang. I'm not gonna belabor the point. We're gonna have some fun. We got some dope topics to discuss this evening, and I might have someone that's gonna be willing to chime in on a few things this evening. If I bother them enough, they may add their 2 cents, maybe 3 cents to a few of the subjects this evening. We'll see. Either way, it should be a fun night, gang. Stay tuned, stay installed, stay in the know. His Ghetto Point of View at gmail.com. Send me your contact. That way you stay in the know with the latest and greatest we got going on. His HIS Ghetto GHETTO Point POINT of OF View VIEW. His Ghetto Point of View at gmail.com. And as always, HGPOV, His Ghetto Point of View show, His Ghetto Point of View podcast on IG. Follow us. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Wednesdays and Sundays is when we get to it. You know how we do it. It ain't nothing to it. We gonna jump into this quick break, and we gonna jump into the first story of the night. Pardon me, gang. It's been an amazing day. I'm excited though. I'm refreshed. I had a little rest period in between, so I'm full of energy, and this show is about to be on one. Let's get to it. Yeah, gang. So first today, and a bit of music and business news, and music business news, and just business of music news, and just business news. Adidas is ending its relationship with Beyonce and the Ivy Park collab, and reports are due it's likely to their sluggish sales. Those that don't remember, Beyonce partnered with Ivy Park, and everybody was going crazy. Oh my God, this clothing line is going to be so amazing, so dope, so fire. I don't know who's been paying attention, and I don't want to seem rude, but Beyonce is not really the best dressed person. Lovely lady, she has that warm glow and that smile and stuff, and she starts singing and halos start dropping. You know what I'm saying? Listen, this is Beyonce we talking about. But as far as like a fashionista, Beyonce really don't dress that well. Beyonce's not like wearing the latest cutting edge trendy thing that makes you be like, yo, damn, I need to cop that. Nah, Beyonce got her own eclectic way of dressing, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? She has a very potluck, Baton Rouge way she grew up. You know what I'm saying? So between Texas and Baton Rouge and that kind of synergy that you get from the French Creole and the down home Texas swagger, it creates this potluck, this gumbo, if you will, of fashion. And it might not be everybody's cup of tea, you know what I'm saying? But people will rock it and people will try it because it's Beyonce. But, some of the pieces that she had people wanting to wear, like shout to my bro Paperboy Prince. He was actually modeling some of her early stuff. He had got a box from her. And it was like this orange jumpsuit with bell bottoms, but it's supposed to be an Adidas suit. And it's like, why you got Adidas making bell bottoms. You know what I'm saying? Adidas is track pants. They're more snug, fit, tight, athletic or athleisure wear. And sometimes people even will wear a nice Adidas jumpsuit to a nice high-end restaurant and stuff if it's nice and fitted and looking clean on you, especially their Superstar collection, because it's more high-end, higher quality materials, etc. So Adidas kind of has this place in the fashion and sports / athletic / athleisure world where they kind of have ingratiated themselves into every market. You can find people wearing it literally anywhere. You go to a baseball game, you go to a restaurant, you go to a board meeting. Sometimes people are there in an Adidas suit. So she just kind of brought her own interesting flair to the Adidas brand, and I'm not really sure it ever really got off the ground. I never really heard anybody saying that, oh my God, this is amazing or great. Yeah. I mean, what are your thoughts on the Adidas brand? Chime in if you don't mind.
I think, excuse me, I think her Adidas brand sucked, along with her House of Darion collection of clothes. Beyonce is a great singer, great entertainer, but designing clothes for herself and for her fans, no, just stick to singing, Beyonce, because that's what you're good at. I digress.
So you don't think I'm being mean when I say that she's not really the person that people look at and say, oh, this is who I want to dress like. When I see a Beyonce music video, I have to have that dress. I have to have that coat. I have to have my hair like that. Well, no, I'll give her the hair thing, because when she had the hair in, what was that video? The one where she's swinging out the car and she's got the big fur coat on. Formation. A lot of sisters did, even women from other races did their hair like that after the Formation video. So I will say the lemon. Ooh, is that what we calling them? Lemonade braid.
They are called the lemonade braids.
Lemonade braids. Okay. So yes, she did. When it comes to lemonade braids, all day, because we're not gonna sit here and pretend like she doesn't have an influence on the culture. I just don't think that fashion is really her cup of tea, and I blame it on her mama, because the House of Darion clothing line was kind of garbage. Speaking to the mic.
Kind of garbage. I thought it was garbage. I thought they got it out of a garbage bag, but I digress.
She thought they got it out of a garbage bag. Jesus, there you go. So now I appreciate having a sister on to say these things, because, it can look like sometimes the brothers are just piling on the sisters, and we don't necessarily mean that. We love the sisters, so sometimes it's good to have the support of a beautiful sister to make sure you're not bugging. So thank you very much. I have this lovely young lady chime in from time to time on some questions this evening, but the article continues, right? So according to the Wall Street Journal, Beyonce receives around $20 million a year in compensation as a part of the deal. $20 million for what though? This is like when Spotify gave the royal couple $100 million and they recorded one Spotify episode. It's like, y'all gotta start getting more return on y'all investment from these celebrities, because this don't make no sense. And then y'all turn around and trickle that price down, the losses, to other creators on y'all platforms. Y'all not slick. We see what y'all doing. But the Ivy Park collection has been losing money for Adidas for some time, as Beyonce moves her attention to more luxury-focused brands. When did it make money for Adidas? That's what I would like to know. When was there this boon of profits? She recently unveiled a new couture collection designed in collaboration with Balmain. The collection features looks that are inspired by her recent album Renaissance. Excuse me. The superstar first launched her Ivy Park clothing line in 2016. Adidas announced a deal with Beyonce in 2019, hoping to capture lightning in a bottle again after its Yeezy partnership. The Wall Street Journal reports that much of the merchandise produced for the collection didn't sell, however. Sales were only $40 million in 2022, well below Adidas' internal projections of $250 million. That's literally 1/6 of what they expected to sell. Jesus. It's also well below the $93 million sales figure in 2021, suggesting a decline in interest for the collaboration. I mean, it's hard to say anybody's going to match the fashion impact that Kanye West has had. Kanye's a different type of intellect. He's a very weird guy, like you have to be that level of weird genius to be able to create fashion to that degree. I don't know if Beyonce is weird like that. I think when I think of Beyonce, I think of a icon in music. I don't think of somebody that's necessarily like a weird kind of genius in that regard. What do you think of when you think of Beyonce? Do you think of her as like this weird genius?
Kind of.
Just what honestly comes to your mind when you think of like Beyonce and her creative endeavors?
As far as
just period, when you think of Beyonce and creativity, do you think when you think of her creativity overall, do you think of her as a weird genius creative, like a Basquiat or a Rembrandt, or is she more like a straight up artist in the model of a Van Gogh or a Michelangelo or a Picasso? Is she painting abstract pictures, or is she just creating beautiful cans of soup and Mona Lisas?
I think she's creating beautiful cans of soups and Mona Lisas.
So that would be more traditional art, not necessarily like abstract. So if somebody is more of a traditional artist, would they be able to make cutting edge fashion and have that what's next mind, or would they more be doing what's now and what's contemporary?
What's now and what's contemporary.
And that's the same way I think about Beyonce. I don't think of her as this fashion forward or future forward thinking artist. I think of her as she's just dominating whatever's going on right now. And there is nothing wrong with that. That is how you win at the industry. Sometimes Kanye takes lumps for being so future forward because people can't see what he's thinking about until several years later. And then people turn around and be like, oh, the Yeezus is fire. Oh, that album was dope. Oh, that's what he meant when he did that. As opposed to Beyonce, the message is pretty clear cut and forward, whether it be the visuals, the art, the clothing. So it's not really leaving much to the imagination. So I just don't think that this was a promising collaboration from the jump. I don't understand how they thought they were going to receive the same level of growth with a brand with her that they got with Kanye, because Kanye is always thinking about doing something else. He's always producing, where she's always, an album, which is different. Just to me, just my perspective. Article continues. Adidas has been left in freefall following the fallout of its partnership with Kanye West. West made a slew of anti-Semitic comments and engaged in erratic behavior that forced the company to cut ties with him. If they say so, allegedly. Anybody who was paying attention to when Kanye was on Drink Champs heard Kanye when he was drunk bumble out, I am on the board. I'm 30% of the board. They can't fire me. I think Adidas gave Kanye a board member seat. And no matter what Kanye does, they can't get rid of Kanye. I really genuinely think that was the deal. Have I seen the paperwork? No. But why would Kanye bumble that out? And why, after all of these brands have disassociated themselves with Kanye, is Adidas still in the news trying to figure out a way to amicably bring him back in, to bring the customers back, but to keep media in the status quo at bay as well? Why are they figuring out a way to kibosh all of that and resolve all of that? Sounds like they stuck between a rock and a Kanye, and he's on the board and they can't get rid of him. That's just my ghetto point of view. That's what I gather. And the man blatantly said it in front of Nori and them while he was drunk. And then he said, "Oh, I slipped. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean that." No, he meant it. He's on the board. He is on the board of directors for Adidas. They cannot get rid of him. They might as well change the name of a company to a Kanye. You understand me? A Kanye's, because it's his company now. They will not sell anything without that man at this point. They just won't. The company is aligned with Kanye. Period. For better or worse, they're in bed together, and they better get it going. And if Demna is smart, Demna's gonna leave Balenciaga and go with Kanye to Adidas. If Demna is smart. But I'll leave that alone. And if that other designer, I can't remember, the Asian designer that was making the shirts and stuff for the Gap, if they all smart, they'll leave and they'll just run up under Kanye. And Kanye will take them to the fashionista promised land. I definitely see it coming. But anyway, article continues. Adidas has been left in free fall following the fallout of its partnership with Kanye West. Article keeps going. The company says it will suffer its first annual operating loss in over 3 decades due to the collapse of the Yeezy collaboration. Nothing collapsed. Be quiet. It will write off its entire Yeezy clothing brand line, representing a potential $500 million loss for the company's bottom line. That's just $500 million in taxes they don't have to pay. Whatever. Bunch of Nazis. Shut up. CEO Bjorn Golden says Adidas had received over 500 offers to buy the existing stock, but it's not sure that's the right thing to do. Of course it's not sure that's the right thing to do, because they want to make money. If they sell off all their stock, then how will they make money? They know that this is gonna blow over. They know this is gonna blow over, and eventually people are gonna want Yeezys again. And they don't want to be the ones without the Yeezys. You understand me? This is all going to blow over. And they still like selling Yeezys. So, I don't see this going anywhere at all. Do you see Adidas ever fully removing themselves from the Kanye West relationship? Or is just too much money being made where they'll figure some way to get the public to forgive Kanye and to keep business rolling?
I think they're going to keep Kanye and keep business rolling. It's just too much money for them to lose. And it's just too much money for them to lose. They're not worried about if he loses money. It's just too much money for them to lose.
So you think they're not stressing whether Kanye loses money or not. This is about whether Adidas loses money, and they could give a damn less if Kanye personally is broke or not. But they too much in bed to let this shit fall apart.
Correct.
I agree. It wouldn't make sense. It's been too much. They've made entirely too much money together, and for better or for worse, this is just where they're at right now. But we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back. This is his Ghetto Point of View, bringing you the news, views, previews, and reviews. Anybody that want to get at us, you know where to get at us. You know where to reach us. His Ghetto Point of View at gmail.com. His Ghetto Point of View at gmail.com. HGPOV Show. His Ghetto Point of View podcast. And the HGPOV podcast on Instagram. Be right back. Yeah, we back, gang. We back. So, in other news, Warner Music Group is announcing 270 job cuts and comprehensive reorganization plans. To quote unquote take advantage of the opportunities ahead of us. Shouts to Digital Music News for the article. Warner Music Group is reportedly laying off approximately 270 employees, or roughly 4% of its global team, and spearheading a seemingly far-reaching executive reorganization. Can't live high off the hog forever. WMG CEO Robert Kinsel, forgive me, I'm destroying this person's last name, who became the major label's sole CEO at February start, just recently announced the personal cutbacks in an internally circulated memo, according to outlets including Variety and Warner Music UK, emailed this morning about a collection of strategic changes, suggesting that the team size reduction is being accompanied by an extensive executive level reorganization. That means a lot of people who got all these cushy jobs at the top, they either gonna have to do actual real tangible work, or they're gonna be up out of there. On the layoff front, a former YouTube chief business officer Kinsel, during his company's quarter four earnings call, acknowledged that the 3-month stretch had been quote unquote tough, while also touching upon plans to very thoughtfully redirect sources to accelerate our technology investments. Warner Music posted year-over-year fall-offs in quarter four, recorded music revenue down 10%, including almost 32% decline for physical, and an almost 8% decline in digital sales, as well as net income down 34%. God damn. For reference, Sony Music Entertainment reported double-digit quarter four revenue jump. So they are there. So while Warner Music is going down, Sony Music had a double-digit jump in quarter four revenue, fueled by a large part in 33.3% year-over-year streaming hike in the recorded side, whereas Universal Music Group achieved similarly strong results, a 19% year-over-year boost for recorded music streaming income among them. So what they mean when they say while year over year, guys, just means that, like, so we look at where they were last year in December, and we look at this year in December, and year over year. So December 2020, December 2021, December 2022, December 2023, year over year, they're going up. Year over year, they're going down. You know what I'm saying? So why year over year, just reflecting back on last year versus this year's finances, if you will. Very interesting article. So the article continues. Once again, at the time of the writing, Warner Music Group was hovering around $32.64 per share, up slightly from yesterday's close. For those of you who like to invest in Warner Music Group on the market, last month, just after Kinkle took over Warner Music Group, Vanguard Group increased its stake in the business, approximately buying approximately 10.42 million shares, or 7.6% of the company. Wouldn't be surprised if Vanguard eventually wants to do a takeover of Warner Music Group. Does anybody invest in Vanguard? Do you guys invest in Vanguard? Are you invested in Vanguard, madame?
No, I'm not.
Do you invest in general?
Yes, I do.
And do you personally like investing in individual stocks, or do you like doing the Vanguards and the larger bulk stock options where they invest your money into a pool of stocks, or do you personally like to just try to research specific companies?
I like to research companies.
Okay, and you find that to be a better approach than going with like the group, the pools. What's your perspective?
I think it's better than going with the pools. So.
Okay. Nah, short and to the point. Can't really be mad at that. Short and to the point. Can't really be mad at that. So on other fronts, to take a 360 spin, Lavar Ball has some advice for Bronny James amidst all of the hubbub that has been going on. For those of you who have been paying attention, it is the wrap up of the high school basketball season, the Geico National High School Tournament, where all the top high school teams in the country will be battling it out for who is the number one team across the nation. Is set to go in a few days. All of the state and regional basketball tournaments have pretty much wrapped up at this point. Nike's Hoop Summit has wrapped up. The Jordan Brand Classic, if it hasn't happened yet, will happen shortly. I believe it happened already. Every single tournament is pretty much wrapping up. Adidas Nations is going to be starting soon for their summer run. Nike's fall tournament, the Nike EYBL League, that's wrapping up. Pretty much all of the basketball that goes on during the school year, that starts before the school year and it runs up until around springtime, is wrapping up. It's been a maddening March Madness. But I love it this way. I love a lot of good basketball going on. Shout to all the people playing amazing level basketball right now. So LeBron James Jr., LeBron's son being a senior is no different, playing in the McDonald's All-American tournament. Shout out to him for even making the McDonald's All-American tournament, because that wasn't even projected for him at the beginning of this school year. He has made an exponential growth and improvement in his game in the past 12 months. So shouts to him. I don't want to say the boy's juicing and taking steroids or nothing, but sheesh, this boy's hops just started looking crazy. But I'll leave that alone. Hot new hip hop. Before I get into the article though, what are your thoughts on LeBron James' son's game? Bronny, the older son. What do you think? You think he's gonna make the pros?
He could make the pros, but I don't think he'll be as good as his father is, and I don't think he's as good as some of the classmen that he was in the All-American games with. I don't think he's better than most of them, but I think he can go to the pros and he'll do pretty good.
So you think that while he's good, there are a lot of other players that stand out above him around his age range?
Yes.
I agree. Mikey Williams, most notably one of them. Mikey Williams ain't even allowed to be considered a senior. It's crazy the type of abstract, pushed off to the side high school career he's had since they just found out he's just Dwayne Wade and stuck in a high school kid's body. This kid is just a man child. But yeah, so I mean, I feel bad for LeBron James Jr., aka Bronny, because I don't necessarily, and we've had this conversation before, I don't think that basketball was probably the best thing for him to be doing. I just don't think he has the physical tools. He's not very tall. He's not very long or lanky. He's average height, he's average arms, average legs. He doesn't have like insane wingspan. He's got crazy hops and he can shoot out the gym. He's a great defender, and also a decent playmaker with the ball in his hands. But I don't know if that will translate to him being the guy at the next level. Now, he did his thing at the All-Star, the McDonald's American game. He did his thing in the three-point contest. He is a marksman from deep. He can really shoot it. I just don't know if it translates to him being an NBA superstar. Will he get in the NBA? Of course, because look who his daddy is. But do you see him ever being an NBA champion?
No.
Making any All-Star games?
Maybe one.
Do you see him playing with his father potentially in the league?
No. I don't see it at all.
Even with his father requesting a trade, you don't think he could be trying to finagle his son someplace with him?
I mean, he can do that, but as far as, let's just say if they do become on the same team, I don't think Bronny will even play as much as any other player would. I don't think he'll get any play time. Especially playing with his father, I doubt he'll get the play time.
So do you think it's all just for gimmick? He's trying to force his son's way onto an NBA team by using himself as the prize, or the package deal. Me and my son coming to New York, me and my son going to Milwaukee, me and my son going to Sacramento, etc. You think that's kind of how he might be trying to do it, even though his son might not be ready?
Absolutely.
Do you think that will work out for the benefit or detriment of his son long term?
I'm not sure. I see LeBron James retiring in a couple of years, and Bronny's just going to be there left alone in the NBA. Sorry, I have one sports on my mind. He'll just be left alone there in the NBA with the other players being attacked because they're wolves, and he's just a little cub and he's not ready. I don't think he'll be ready at all.
Okay. So the article goes on. Bronny James' every movement is being dissected second by second. Shout to Hop New Hip Hop for the article, by the way. The eldest son of LeBron James has a lot of important decisions to make in the coming months. The high school senior will decide where to take his talents on the hardwood. The colleges will be lining up to have just a moment with James Jr. Lavar Ball has other advice. Of course, Ball, who has seen all three of his children play in the NBA in some capacity, gave James Jr. some interesting advice about his future. The Ball father did an interview recently with Sporting News Australia. Shout to Sporting News, great magazine, great blog, where he mentioned James Jr. should seek options outside of college. Ball advised that Bronny should look at the NBL as a real option for his future. And to be honest, I wholeheartedly agree, because it'll give him professional training while keeping him out of the NBA spotlight for a few years and allow him to grow and develop his game. And that'll probably allow him to then kill at the NBA level, because there's enough NBA players in the NBBL, and not the NBBL, but the NBL, that he'll get the level of competition he needs and the mentorship without necessarily being in the limelight. Comparatively, the National Basketball League is where LeVar's son LaMelo decided to take his talents before the NBA, and where he also tried to buy a team, but they kiboshed the deal right at the last minute. It's not terrible advice for someone whose spotlight will be much larger than the average college athlete. James would be allowed to solely focus on basketball if he chose the NBL. As Ball stated in his interview, "You want to play basketball? You really that dude? Why am I sitting in class trying to pass a chemistry test?" Ball has a point with that statement. Most top 50 recruits aren't going to college for their education. The dream is to make it to the league, and college is more focused on a plethora of opportunities. It's no secret that Bronny's NIL worth is one of the largest for a future college prospect. The options are limitless for the 18-year-old. The decision may seem simple from the outside looking in. However, Bronny James has a difficult road ahead of him. Yes, the money sounds nice, but the pressure will be enough to break most. James has the opportunity of a lifetime in front of him no matter what he chooses, except only one decision will be the perfect choice for him and his family. So, which decision will be the right decision? Let us know your thoughts. If it was me, I'm telling him go overseas. Get the training over there, play in some European leagues, play in the NBL, play in China, get your feet wet playing against some killers. And then after a year or two of that, then come to the league bigger, stronger, seasoned, more mature, maybe speaking a couple languages and having some experiences away from the cameras. What do you think?
I think going overseas would be great. It would be a really good opportunity for him. I've seen Lavar Ball play overseas, and now he's in the NBA and he's doing pretty good. So I think maybe, Bronny should go overseas, but he really doesn't have a dad like Lavar who would travel with him overseas because his dad's job is here in the United States. Now, unless LeBron James is going overseas to play with him, then knock yourself out, Bronny, go overseas. If not, I think maybe G League basketball or college.
Okay. And do you think that going overseas would... I personally don't see any negatives to him going overseas at all. The long and short of it, I think that nothing but good things can come out of his game going overseas, from a competition standpoint, from a development standpoint, just as a personal person maturing, not being under his mom Savannah and his father's watchful eye all the time, having a coach yell and scream at you and you having to be responsible for being up, being on time, and being at a place at a particular time, and it really becoming a job. Like, let him have a job as a professional before you put all those spotlights on him. Let him for 2-3 years see what it's like to have to earn a living doing this before being pushed into the biggest of big leagues. Just my cup of tea. And I think you were saying kind of a similar thing. No?
Yes.
Okay. So seem to be in agreement on that. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Yeah, I don't know really what else there is to say about this subject. I think it's a dope topic, and somebody like Lavar, who's helped 3 children get into the league and eclectic, kind of making their own path type of ways, would be somebody ideal to speak on the topic. So shouts to Sporting News, shouts to Hop New Hip Hop, and shouts to the big baller, Lavar himself. We're going to take a quick break. This is his Ghetto Point of View. We'll be right back. Shit. Yeah, we back, gang. So for those that don't know, as always, any questions, comments, critiques, criticisms, you have a show idea you'd like to send our way, it is ghettopointofview@gmail.com. Any new movies that you're working on, new video game apps you're developing, new programs, after school initiatives, you're opening up a new program for the youth, is ghettopointofview@gmail.com. is ghettopointofview@gmail.com. So, digital music news with a great article for the musicians. Shout to all the musicians out here grinding to make your dreams come true, but still having to keep the lights on. The best day jobs for musicians is an article from a few days ago. Shout out to Callum Murphy over at Digital Music News. Sometimes it can feel like your day job takes away from your music. It takes up all your time. It drains your energy. It gets in the way. And anybody who's worked a day job and has been trying to be a creative can without question say all of this is 100% true. Even if you were just trying to run your own business after work, day jobs could definitely get in the way sometimes. So finding that right job where the environment will be supporting of you and all your external endeavors while making sure you get their work done, they applaud you for having your own dreams and ambitions. That's very key. I used to work in customer service, and this is what it felt like. Me too, and it sucked. But it doesn't have to be that way. Excuse me. To make things easier on yourself, you need a day job that both provides for you financially and doesn't totally drain you. Here are some of the best day jobs for musicians who are building a career, what to look for in a day job and what to avoid. If you are thinking about changing day jobs, here are 2 things you should look for in a new job. 1, a workable schedule and a steady income. By workable, I mean you're not regularly working overtime. Your boss is willing to work with your life circumstances and the hours allow you to have time for music. Obviously, this day job needs to provide for basic needs. There's nothing that will kill creativity more than being stressed about money. That is a whole fact. But sometimes being stressed about money, that hunger, that's when you really create the best work ever. That, I don't even know what I'm gonna eat tomorrow. Sometimes that shit will help you create the best record. So I don't know if I always agree with this, that being stressed about money will kill creativity. Sometimes being stressed about money is the thing you need to focus your ass. Sometimes that's what you need to focus your ass. On top of that, you'll ideally make enough money to fund your music career. You'll need money for mixing and or mastering, distribution, and promotion, of course. So this means you should avoid jobs that are time-sucking and mentally draining. The best day jobs for musicians. Some of these jobs I've done, some of them my friends have done, and some just sound like really good jobs for part-time musicians. First, freelance writer. Yes, freelance writing probably does give you a lot of time. In 2017, I quit my customer service job and worked full-time as a writer. This allowed me to have a flexible schedule, work from home, and be able to work on music whenever I felt inspired. Your best bet is to get into copywriting. Copywriting can pay anywhere from 10 cents and $1 per word, 25 cents per page, or 50 cents per hour. Absolutely. I had a job offer for some copywriting a couple weeks back, but it was only paying 2 to 3 cents a page, 2 to 3 cents a word, and it was insanely demanding. The amount of articles they needed every week for their hip hop blog, YouTube page. They needed a lot of copy written. They needed a lot of content, and they just really weren't paying a fair wage. But this is a great thing to do for freelance writers, anybody, a freelance artist. If you can write songs, you could probably write copy as well. So it's something to think about and keep on the back burner. Here are the basic steps to get into copywriting. Learn the basics of copywriting from books or courses. Choose a specialty: marketing, emails, social media ads, etc. Offer your services for free to a few friends and for your own website, even if it's a mock website. Get your first jobs from places like ProBlogger and Blogging Pro, Upwork, and freelancewriting.com. Do really great work so your clients refer you to others. This day job may take a little time to get into, but the pay to time spent can be fantastic. Plus, you work from anywhere with Wi-Fi on your own schedule. Super key, guys. Music store employee. This would be at a Guitar Center or your local music store, something I've also personally done as well. I've worked at Guitar Center and Sam Ash, and a store that used to be called TechServe, which no longer exists, kind of got bought out, where they had like Mac specialties, music stuff. They used to do stuff for the Grammys and all that. It was, they served a lot of very high-end clients. But they also had a store front part where people could just come in and buy headphones, get their Apple devices repaired, things of that nature. So This is also one where, because a lot of the people around you are creative as well, your managers and stuff included, they have a bit more leniency and understanding. You would probably be the person helping musicians test out and buy instruments. The article continues, you need people skills, musical knowledge, and the physical ability to lift heavy objects. Yes, yes, and yes. You need to do all those things. You need to be creative with how you put out merchandise. You need to be a really good salesperson also at these jobs. You may make minimum wage starting out, which currently is not very good in the United States, but this can be vary based on where you live, and you can make it work depending on your cost of living. Your best chance is to walk into a music store and speak with a manager about open positions. And they've been actually improving the pay scale at a lot of these stores. Like I know Guitar Center went from their previous model, which was it kind of worked against your hourly wage, to now you get an hourly wage plus commission, which is much better, much more relaxing and relieving to the people who work there. So definitely something to look into. A similar vein can be pawn shops, but pawn shops can be a little harder to get into. You kind of got to be cool with the families. Uber or Lyft driver. This is one that is really good for people that want to freelance, period. People that just want to have free time in general. One of my musicians friends used to be an Uber driver, and it seems like a great job for musicians. This job can work for you because you set your own schedule, get paid fairly, and even subtly promote your music by playing it while giving customers rides. You will need cars that are new enough and in good condition, and your income doesn't take into account the wear and tear on your vehicle. You definitely have to be in the car buying business. You have to buy a car. A lot of people I know that have done well at Uber or Lyft, they had to just initially invest a couple grand into a separate car just for the Uber or Lyft business, because if anything, this is your work vehicle. This is how you make your money. You can't have anything happening to it. You can't have anyone needing to borrow it. You can't have anyone needing to use it or loan it. You can't have anything happening to it getting damaged or crashed. It's kind of like having those people who drive a school bus or a separate taxi. They literally have a separate vehicle that they use solely for that. So that's just my 2 cents on that. I think that's actually a great one for people in general that just need a nice side hustle. Uber, Lyft, definitely, and Postmates, any of those type of jobs where either you're directly giving people rides or you're delivering people's food. Uber Eats. I think all those type of jobs right now are a great side hustle. Private music teacher. This is one of those often overlooked music-related jobs that could easily work well for a lot of musicians. It can pay very well, but usually between $20 and $40 an hour. Flexible working hours, and it allows you to do music for money. Also, something I've done, and something I got a lot of these referrals while working at Guitar Center in San Mash, because people will come in, they'll buy a piano, they'll buy Pro Tools, they'll buy something, and now they need to know how to use it, or they need to teach their kids how to use it, and they'll be willing to have somebody come in and show their kids the initial ropes of it, and they'll pay you a couple $100s to just sit there and just give their kids all the basics. That actually happened to me a lot while working as a music store employee. So private music teacher and music store employee, I feel those two go hand in hand, because when you're in the music stores, you're in the place that the people buying gear are going to need people to teach them how to use it. So that's a pro tip from the inside. Get you some business cards when you work as a music store employee and give them out to all the customers. Virtual assistant. I've never been one, but a virtual assistant is basically a remote secretary. The article continues. So you'd be a freelancer who offers a slew of services like social media management, help with someone else's blog, website and graphic design, answering emails, and bookkeeping. VAs can get paid well, so like copywriting, you can work less than 40 hours a week and make a full-time income. If you want to consider becoming a VA, I'd suggest you check out this article from Okay, dope. Restaurant server. Yep, definitely being a waiter in a restaurant is a classic job for people. Absolutely. Some people like it, some people hate it. Some people say it can definitely take away from your music career and your passion. Some people say it can help you meet a lot of people. The networking, if you're in the right type of restaurant, around the right type of crowd, around people that would listen to your type of music, can be very dope. I've also worked in some clubs and stuff and have met insane people. I met 2 Chainz working at a club. I met Swiss Beats working at a club. So, I mean, the promise for potential people to meet, especially if you're in the right cities, is that could being in the restaurant field can be dope. Being in the club business can be dope. Yeah, your day job is your side hustle. If you're serious about building your music career, the article continues, you have to think of your day job as your side hustle and your music as your main thing. That's a whole fact. If you want music to stay a hobby, that's totally fine. This post may not apply to you. But if you want a career in music, you can't have a backup plan. What you do for money has to either be music or a day job that works around your music goals. And that is it. Period. No plan B. It's just the way it goes. It's just the way it goes. That's the way it goes. Ooh! That's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. Ooh! That's the way it goes. We're going to take a quick break real quick. This is his Ghetto Point of View. I'm your host, Phantom Fuego. We'll be right back. Give the people their music. I like that. Yeah, we back, gang. So, TikTok reportedly lost users and user hours in Australia during what was known as a music limit test. Article courtesy of Digital Music. Last month, amid TikTok's long-running licensing talks with major labels, it came to light that the ByteDance owned platform had started limiting the availability of certain music in Australia. Now, reports suggest that the pilot designed to demonstrate the app's purportedly minimal reliance on popular tracks brought about a usership decline in the islet nation. So actually, it backfired. So they were essentially trying to run a test to show major labels that, their app does not rely on music for it to be popular and for people to use it constantly. And what the test showed was the exact opposite, that it is the people being up there making the memes and using the music for their videos that makes people use TikTok. It's the formula of how people present TikTok videos, literally, is in using the songs. And if they can't use the songs to go along with the themes of the meme that they're presenting or the performance they're playing out for people, then what would be the purpose of being on the app? The app will no longer be helpful or functional to them. It would no longer make sense. That's the format. That's how they've practiced using TikTok. They can't just now change. So this latest twist in TikTok's evident lengthy licensing negotiations with the big three, those who don't know, the big three are the big three record labels, Warner, BMG, Sony. Just recently entered the media spotlight in a report from Bloomberg. Shouts to Bloomberg. For background, TikTok has, particularly during the past year or so, taken a number of steps to broaden its music industry presence. Yes, they are literally trying to be their own record label, guys. TikTok Music is going to be its own record label, including with the debut of a distribution service called Sound On, as well as a pre-release feature the rollout of a talent manager portal, and the addition of exclusive tracks and performances. Guys, TikTok is going to be its own record label and have its own content on the app. Shit getting crazy. Plus, the short app Plus, the short form app last summer moved to trademark TikTok music, and it subsequently emerged that the rumored streaming service expansion was factoring into the aforesaid licensing discussions, with ByteDance reportedly suffering massive annual losses in part because of an across-the-board dip in advertising revenue. The majors are reportedly demanding a slice of the latter. It's against the backdrop that TikTok launched the initially mentioned music usage limit in Australia, presumably in an effort to enhance its negotiating power with Universal Music, Sony Music, Warner Music, and others. Of course, if users had remained just as active or more active despite the reduced prevalence of select high-profile songs, logic suggests that TikTok would have emphasized as much when attempting to secure favorable pacts with the majors. I think that's bullshit. I think that TikTok is a savvy business company like every other company, and they're trying to save a buck, and they will make it look like they don't need the music when they really do. It's just my personal opinion, but this is a dope article, very dope read. Check it out. Like, their whole model is built around the music. Like, you can't TikTok properly without the music. But we're gonna pivot for a sec from music to a sadder note. Unfortunately, the story of the young lady Khadijah Brown and her husband Jerry Brown, and the very tragic situation that happened on Facebook Live over this past weekend. Had to let the beat breathe for this one. So, for those that may not be aware, I'm sure most people are at this point, a young lady, Khadijah Brown, 28 years old, from Mississippi or the surrounding Mississippi area. Oh, not the surrounding Mississippi, from the Columbus, Mississippi area, excuse me, is said to have allegedly murdered her husband, somebody she's allegedly been with since grade school, who she has 4 children with, over some interesting accusations of infidelity, some alleged, right, we don't know for sure, some accusations of alleged infidelities, even going so far as some accusations of alleged infidelity with people of the same sex or gender. He was doing some gay love, maybe she was alluding to, in addition to possibly also sleeping around with female co-workers. It's really tragic. So they were on Facebook Live arguing back and forth. Khadijah's mother looked to be also in the background of the shots, and possibly some other person in a red hat that I wasn't clear who that was, if that was one of the kids or what have you. They're arguing. It appears, now we don't know what happened before the cameras started rolling, but it appears that Jerry was just trying to get out, trying to leave, had himself on the phone and was telling people, yo, she won't keep her hands off me. Even going so far as to threaten to have family members, I guess female family members, come over and box her up one good one, just so she would leave her hands to herself. You know what I'm saying? Which, I know some people are like, oh, that's messed up that he would do that. But the alternative would be, I guess, him putting his hands on her. And then it's like, then how does he look? So, While some people don't like that was an old school remedy that men used to use. Yeah, I'm not gonna beat you up, and I'm finna go get my cousin. I'm finna go get my big sister. I'm finna go get my sister's best friend, my auntie, my young auntie, she's my auntie, but she's really only 2 years older than me, and they gonna come box you up one time. That was a classical thing. Have you ever heard of that? Like, oh, I can't beat you up because I'm a boy, but wait till I go get my sister. When my sister comes see you, that's gonna be a problem.
I've heard it. I've heard everything. I've heard that. I've heard I'll get my brother to beat you up. I'll get my mother to beat you up. I'll get everybody. I'll get my whole family to beat you up. I've heard it all.
Awesome. What do you think of that strategy, though? Do you think that, we did that a lot in the 90s and stuff? Do you think that made sense? Do you think guys should have just been allowed to defend themselves against these young ladies? Or do you think that they, to keep themselves out of trouble, were better off calling a cousin, a sister, or what have you?
I think that two people who are involved, especially if they're married, should handle things as an adult. Now, if your wife hits you, do you have the right to hit her back? Possibly, yes, because you were taught if somebody puts their hands on you, hit their ass back. Everybody's parent has said that to them. So, I guess. But girls aren't supposed to hit boys, and boys are not supposed to hit girls.
Right. Okay. Very well said. So that being said, jump into an article. Mississippi mom allegedly shoots husband dead on Facebook Live. A Mississippi woman has been charged with a murder after she allegedly gunned down her husband following an argument which played out to her friends and family on Facebook Live. Khadijah Michelle Brown, 28, of Columbus, and her husband Jerry Brown were captured fighting in the chilling video, which was live streamed on Saturday, police said. Lowndes County Sheriff Eddie Hawkins told WCBI that the couple had been arguing most of the night and that Jerry was trying to leave the apartment to defuse the situation. "What is the conversation you want to have?" Khadijah repeatedly asked as he prepares to leave. "Don't touch me. Tell your daughter to keep her hands off me," he says while holding a phone up to his ear, while another woman, apparently Khadijah's mother, is heard in the same room. "You're supposed to be here," Khadijah says as she berates him for not helping with their kids. That's actually not what she was berating him for. He wanted to leave. If you listen to the video, he wanted to leave. First, Khadijah and her mother were complaining that he was getting ready for work. So because he was getting ready for work, he couldn't make breakfast for his children. Now, she wasn't saying, "I have to get ready for work too." Her and her mother looked to be just kind of posted and chilling in the house, while she was saying this man needed to run to his mother's house, then run to pick up his cousin, I believe, or some male relative, and then help his cousin with a ride to work and also get himself to work. So she was pretty much outlining a bunch of responsibilities this man had before he got to work in the morning, and then he has to go work his job. She never once said, "Oh, I have to go to work, I have to get ready for work, I have anything of that nature," and her mother was there also. So you have two women, and I know some people may not consider in 2023 the kitchen, quote unquote, woman's work. But if this man is working his behind off and you guys are just chilling in the house, I'm very confused as to why two capable women with 5 fingers on each hand, so that's 20 fingers between them, 20 working toes between them, 4 working kneecaps, working legs and arms, and 4 working arms and 4 working legs, working torsos and hips and intellect, why they couldn't make breakfast, why that even had to be an issue. But for somebody who's working constantly, it appears, and is providing for the home. But I digress. Don't touch me, I'll call the police over that, Jerry tells her as the conversation becomes more heated and physical. The article continues, this is your family. You're supposed to be here helping, taking care of the kids. Khadijah's mother is heard saying. At this point, the picture goes black, but the escalating argument is still heard for several seconds before a single gunshot is heard and strident wails erupt. Yes, she can be heard yelling and screaming. Children are also heard crying in the middle of the chaos. The sheriff's deputies respond to the apartment at 500 Green Tree Drive at about 7:40 a.m. Saturday and arrest Khadijah, who's been charged with murder. And if you can hear her in the video, she's saying it's going to be a murder scene. I'm going to kill you. It's going to be a murder scene. Murder scene. Murder scene. I'm going to kill you. She said all of these things. You'd have thought it was a song. Is what is being said in the background. It appeared that Brown and the victim were involved in an argument that turned physical. This incident was captured on audio and video on Facebook Live. The husband died of a single gunshot wound and a 9mm pistol was recovered on the scene. According to police, there is a history of domestic violence between Brown and the victim, Hawkins said in a statement. This was tragic and a senseless murder, and our thoughts and prayers go out to the family of the victim. Fortunately, Brown is in custody, and we look forward to the criminal justice system holding her accountable, he added. So when they say a history, do they mean her beating on him? Because it doesn't look like he beat on her. So I'm trying to figure out when they say this history, are they trying to say what? Trying to figure out what they're trying to say by that statement. But anyway, I think this is just a tragic story, man. I think we can't continue to have things like this going on in our community. It only makes the community look bad, guys. This is us living up to every nigga stereotype humanly possible. And I say that with every bit of disrespect you could possibly muster. This is us living up to every cold nigga, boy, porch monkey, jigaboo. I can't even get the words out. I'm so mad right now. You can't be serious. Adults, we as adults, we have problems. Fine, we have issues we sometimes as adults need to work out as we're getting older, as we're maturing. Putting our egos aside, figuring out the structure of our families and how we're going to move forward as units that win, figuring out the structure of our businesses, figuring out how we become better leaders, better followers, better team players, how we win, whatever our role is in our teams, how we do that to the best of our abilities so that we can win as a whole. We all strive to continue to get better at that. At least those of us that want to be better at things in life, we strive to be better at these things. And so when you have just this absolute degree of nigga shit going on, what else can you say? What else can you say? This is an absolute degree of nigga shit. Murder gang. It's gonna be a murder scene. What do you mean it's gonna be a murder scene? Shit is crazy, man. I don't even understand. So, this article on Fox News: Mississippi woman accused of murdering husband on Facebook Live. A Mississippi woman allegedly fatally shot husband while streaming on Facebook Live, authorities say. Lowndes County Sheriff's Office responded to a domestic violence call at 500 Green Tree Drive around 7:42 a.m. Saturday, according to press release. 7:42. Not really sure what the exact time was. I had heard 7:40 previously. When they arrived, they found a man dead from a single gunshot wound. Deputies arrested Khadijah Michelle Brown, 28, after believing she shot and killed her husband. She is charged with murder. The sheriff's office only said the victim was 28 years old, but the coroner's office confirmed to the commercial dispatch that his name was Jeremy Brown, a resident of the home. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Investigators believe the couple was involved in an argument that turned physical. The incident was captured on Facebook Live. Only the audio part of the shooting went on Facebook, the commercial dispatch states. The phone had been thrown down, and then you heard the shot. Lowndes County Sheriff Eddie Hawkins told the newspaper. 9mm handgun was recovered at the scene with other physical evidence, the sheriff's office stated. Brown was taken into custody without incident and transported to the Lowndes County Adult Detention Center, where she is being held awaiting her initial appearance. No bond has been set at this time. The incident remains under investigation. There was a history of domestic violence between Brown and the victim. This was a tragic, senseless murder, and our thoughts and prayers go out to the family of the victim. Fortunately, Brown is in custody, and we look forward to the criminal justice system holding her accountable, Hawkins said. Can we give some examples of what we mean by there was a history between them? Like, you can't just make that type of allegation to try to justify this woman killing this man. That's a bullshit allegation without paperwork to back it the fuck up. Similar violence against family members happened across the U.S. this year. Earlier this month, an Alabama man was arrested after being accused of killing his parents. Trinell Brown, what the hell? Allegedly admitted the crime to witnesses, Baldwin County Sheriff's Office said in a press release. Investigators believe Brown went to his parents' residence to confront them about an ongoing family dispute before he allegedly shot and killed them. Okay, who is Trinell Brown and what the fuck does that have to do with this case? Are you saying that Trinell Brown is related to Khadijah Brown, or is he related to Jeremy Brown? Are y'all saying that another man who's related to him used a gun before, so it's okay that he's dead? Like, I'm trying to figure out what the fuck that has to do with this story. Can somebody enlighten me on what the fuck that had to do with this story? I'm seeing a lot of trying to make it okay that this woman killed this man in these fucking stories. A lot of people saying, oh, there was a history. What was the history? They're adults. If there was a history of domestic violence between them, say the dates say who was the person that y'all were called on. Just saying there was a history, that don't mean shit. That could mean that she just likes to beat him up on a regular basis. Shit is crazy. This article from Newsweek said Center for Disease Control and Prevention said U.S. crime reports suggest 1 in 5 homicide victims are killed by an intimate partner. While women make up the majority of domestic violence statistics, 1 in 4 men will have experienced severe physical violence from a partner during their lifetime. 1 in 4. Hold. That's 25% of men. That's not a little bit. They just snuck that in there. The CDC said, while women make up the majority of domestic violence victim statistics, 1 in 4 men report having experienced severe physical violence from a partner during their lifetime. 1 out of 4. 25%. That's a lot of brothers getting hands put on them. The CDC added, although personal consequences of IPV are devastating into intimate partner violence, there are also many costs to society. The lifetime economic costs associated with medical services for IPV related injuries, lost productivity from paid work, criminal justice, and other costs is $3.6 trillion. Jesus. The cost of IPV over a victim's lifetime is $137,000 for women and $23,000 for men. That doesn't make any sense. Even in an article where they supposed to be talking about a man died, they gotta lean it back toward the women. This is so horrible. Can we focus on a man died just for one article, guys? Nope, we clearly can't. Because this article in Newsweek also ends with some guy named Irvin Hernandez killing people. Like, okay, we get it. Y'all not used to a woman having to talk about women like this. It's bothering y'all's soul, so y'all gotta keep leaning this back over to men. And I hear y'all, but she did it. Y'all gotta let it go. She did it. It happened. You know what I'm saying? And according to the CDC, 1 in 4 men are experiencing extreme violence from an intimate partner. This is not a random occurrence. This is not the first time this has ever happened. I remember the young lady who was a police officer, the Caucasian lady who was a police officer, who came into the man's apartment and killed him. And she claimed she didn't know what apartment she was going into, but then it later turned out that was the apartment of a man she had also been having an intimate relationship with. And she killed him while he was sitting there just trying to watch a football game. Now, again, I do acknowledge that, women probably do bear the brunt of most intimate partner violence. Absolutely. I do acknowledge that. Physical, because, that mouth is a different type of weapon. And if we about to sit here and play like a woman's mouth, it's not a harsh weapon, then we are lying to ourselves. But when it comes to physical violence, I do acknowledge that in most scenarios, women can receive the brunt of it. But today's sisters is knuckling up and putting their hands on people far too frequently for my particular liking. Whether they are attacking their children, or attacking each other, putting guns to women's heads at Walmart, running people over with cars in the Krogers, slashing up their children. This is becoming a very repeated pattern. Lashing out at the airport when they can't find their kids because their kids went to the bathroom, and throwing monitors and stuff at these airport representatives that are working in the customer service area. I'm seeing a repeated pattern of a lot of violence coming from the sisters. This is not the way we need to handle things. We can do better than this. We all must figure out a way to do better than this. And we will do better than this. We have no other choice. This is your boy Phantom Fuego. This has been a really dope show, gang. Thanks so much. As always, any questions, comments, critiques, criticisms, you know where to reach us. His Ghetto Point of View at gmail.com. We out of here, gang. Catch you Sunday. Peace.